All right, let's just dive into the last chapter right away. Chapter 15, The Road Ahead. This chapter isn't about new tools, it's a call to commitment. You have been equipped, emotional maps, your game level awareness, mental hand histories, identity rewriting tools, troubleshooting framework. But Jared says it's time to shift the focus to what really matters next. Will you stay consistent with the work or slip back into old habits? Okay. He reminds us that mindset mastery is not a one-time fix. I wish it was. I wish it was just something I could take or eat or drink, you know, and it was just a one-time fix and for a long-term process and no problem. All right, but it's not. It's a long-term process, just like just like developing a trading edge, okay? And that process requires ongoing self-awareness, honest evaluation, internal reflection, and the courage to keep adjusting. And I'm going to say the courage to keep looking at your flaws and your mistakes in the face. I think that is the biggest thing because a lot of times we want us to appear better than we are, and that's just for our own self ego, right? That's not like, we're trying to lie or hide or sneak. That's why I try to be very open and honest in these, because I want to have courage in this area, because I naturally want people to think I'm a better trader than I am, but I just try and keep it real. I'm not a 6 7 figure trader yet. I am profitable, but I don't make that kind of money like they do at this point yet. Okay. But the road to profitability has been exactly what I teach on this channel. All right. So take courage. All right. There is no finish line, just the next level of performance. Okay. It's good to have short term goals, midterm goals, long term goals, and all that kind of stuff. It's good to give yourself gold stars. I did well today, doing well this week, and all that kind of stuff. But just remember how you're judging yourself. Don't judge yourself by P&L. Judge yourself by your actions. Okay. So key takeaways. You now have the framework to continually upgrade your mental game. Most traders stop improving when things feel good enough. Okay, that's me. All right. That's when backsliding begins, and that is a very true statement. Consistency isn't sexy, but it is what builds elite performance. Okay. When you think about someone who goes to the gym, right, and they work out consistently, you can usually tell someone who goes to the gym once in a while versus somebody who consistently goes, which I could point you to my buddy Jason Casper. Okay, practically lives in a gym. All right, and you put me and him side by side, you wouldn't guess. I couldn't trick you and be like, which one of us you think goes to the gym? It would be obvious. Okay, consistency matters. You'll face setbacks, but now you're equipped to recover faster and smarter. That's huge. Okay, a lot of people, they read something, they apply it, they start winning, and then they slip and they think it's over. They think the world's ending, and it's like, no, man, relax. You're okay. You slipped, but now you're equipped to recover faster and smarter. And then the next time, even faster and smarter, okay? And that's where you're okay with making mistakes, but it doesn't hurt as much, right? All right, this work compounds. Keep applying it and the mental edge, and you will become your greatest asset. See, that's where I want to become my greatest asset and not my greatest weakness. Yeah, I made the video about how, you know, my number one enemy is myself in trading. Well, I want to make this where I am my number one asset, where I'm like, dude, if I don't have me, then there's no way I can be profitable. That's where I want to end up, right? I hope that makes sense. It makes total sense to me in my mind. So action steps. Build a weekly, not a week, a weekly mental routine. Choose 2 or 3 tools you'd like to use for every week. Example, mental hand history, ABC journaling, identity statement, trade review with emotion mapping, And then consistency is more important than intensity. Okay. So even if, like, you give this 3 minutes a day, it's better than 2 hours once a week. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because, you're going to be building a habit of doing this daily, right? And then you're also going to be more fresh when you're working with yourself daily on what you were thinking, how you were feeling, and all that. So consistency is more important than intensity. Okay. I can't go do full blown psycho CrossFit once a month, right? And then three days a week at the gym would be better, even if it's not quite as intense. Okay, review and adjust every month. What mental patterns have improved? Where did you slip? And what triggered C game moments? Okay, this would be important. Did your identity or self-belief shift? Use this monthly check-in to stay honest and keep evolving. Set a 90-day mental mindset goal. I will reduce the C game days by 50%. I will complete 12 mental hand histories. I will trust my system more than my feelings. Okay, attach a system to the goal and track progress. Yes, this is just like an actual data Excel spreadsheet, but for your mental game. Okay, which in my opinion is as more important than your actual trading plan. All right. Keep asking better questions. Your mindset grows with the quality of your questions. What is really behind that mistake? What version of me just made that decision? What do I need to believe to act better next time? Self-coaching begins with inquiry. Whew. Not self-injury, self-inquiry. So think about that. I mean, some people are going to be like, this stuff's hokey. Like, no, this stuff is legit. All right. This is what's going to, this is what the top do, whether they believe it or not, which I know most of them do believe it, the ones that I'm connected to anyway. This is the kind of stuff that they deal with in their minds. It may not be all laid out in a nice little book by Jared Tendler, but this is pretty much what they're doing. So this is why I am thankful for Jared for writing this book. This has been the #1 game changer book in my arsenal. This is the one that made the difference, the huge difference. So self-coaching begins with self-inquiry. All right, encouragement. All right, you've done what most traders never do. And if you've actually watched all my videos, you've done what most viewers never do. So good job. You don't just read another trading book. You transform the trader behind the trades. This isn't the end. It is the beginning of a new level. Every time you journal your A game, every time you slow down after a loss, every time you reframe a belief and train your emotional edge, you're not just becoming a better trader. You're becoming the professional version of yourself. That is my biggest goal, to become a professional. I want to be at the point where smart money would hire me. I'll probably never work for them, but I want to be to the point where they were like, that's the kind of guy we want. That's who we want working for us. That's what I want to be, but I will do it for myself, for my family at home. And if you keep doing that, there is no limit to how far you'll go. So one of the things I've realized in my trading is all I have to do is compound my risk appropriately for what I'm doing to make more money. And to do that, I need to have the correct mental game where compounding the risk doesn't make any difference to me. That's not a numbers game, and that's not a edge game or a golden strategy game. That is a mental game. And that's all it's going to take is the mental training. And that's exactly what I'm working for. And I seriously, I thank you for watching this much of the video and this much of the series. Share it out, like the videos. And I'm amazed if you've made it this far. That just shows dedication. And it shows that, in my opinion, you're going to be able to do it. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next series.